Agent Useless asks, does stabbing him in the balls cause extra critical damage?
Viewer discretion is advised.
We do perk 0 for medium, then we do perk 0 for heavy, then we do perk 0 for medium with protective tincture.
Okay.
And then with the heavy with protective tincture. And then we do the same with the perk 10.
Okay.
Okay. Spear.
That, you just tell me the damage number you get.
215.
215 war short spear against medium armor.
Yes.
It's done.
Hands. Two-handed sword overhead. 154.
Done.
155. Do you want the numbers from the stats chat? Not
The
overhead.
stats chat.
Okay, 155. The first one was 215, right?
Yep. Yep.
Two-handed hammer. 198.
Yep.
Two-handed axe. 197.
Okay. Put heavy armor on him and we do it again.
Yep.
A few moments later.
Full heavy armor is on. A one-handed spear. 137.
Okay.
Two-handed sword, 194.
Okay.
Two-handed hammer, 253.
A long sword was 194, right? And the
Yes.
two-handed hammer is 253.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
Two-handed axe, 241.
Okay.
Now I will drink protective tincture. I know you don't have that stat, but maybe you have one more column to put that in with the letter P, because this will be the real end game, that everyone will be running with this protective tincture like 24/7.
That's fine. Just give me a sec. Okay, so you've drunk your protective tincture. I'm ready. Is it medium armor or heavy armor on right now?
Let's keep a heavy for now, because then I will change it. Let me just remove the negative effects. But the negative effects are I lose only health and health regeneration, as I know. So it doesn't impact in anything else, only health. Okay, one hand spear, ready?
Yes.
114. 115. 15.
115 short spear, heavy armor with tincture.
Long sword. 163. Hammer, two-handed. 213. Two-handed axe. 203. Switching to medium.
A few inches later.
Medium armor with tincture. Full tincture. One-handed spear. 180. 181, sorry, 181. I always look overhead, not in the stats. Two-handed sword. 130. Two-handed hammer. 166. Two-handed axe. 166. Well, they both are the same. Interesting.
Do the axe again, just to be sure.
Okay. 166.
Again?
I will kill. Maybe hammer one more time. Yeah, they both are exactly the same. 166, 166.
Okay. Alright. Got all that data.
Now I level it up. Yeah.
Yep, to 10.
To 10.
Do you have any more tinctures? And
Yeah, I'll reset the tinctures for now. So we will do
Okay,
one
good.
test without them. And then I will drink again and we'll do it with them.
12 seconds later.
Tinctures are reset. full heavy will be attacked with one-handed spear. 91. Two-handed sword. 163. Two-handed hammer. 230. Two-handed axe. 198. Switching to medium.
3 days later.
Okay, medium armor is on. And one-handed spear.
Yep.
207. Longsword. 153. Two-handed hammer. 196. Two-handed axe. 187.
Okay. You can tincture up.
Agent Useless asks, does stabbing him in the balls cause extra critical there? You'd wish. Yes, you'd wish. But the funniest thing, when they build Kevlars for officers, policemen, you know, the Kevlars doesn't really protect your balls. Because apparently balls are not your critical organs, or how we call it. Yeah? You can lose your balls and you will still be able to live, but if you lose your, let's say, stomach, I think stomach is very dangerous to get shot in. So yeah, balls is not critical part. No. Maybe painful, but not critical at all. Okay, I'm tincturing up.
3:28 a.m.
I am full medium with perk level 10 and tinctures on max.
Alright.
And ready to stab him. Stabbing. 174. 129 with a long sword. 165 with a hammer. 157 with the axe. Switching to heavy.
Day 2.
One-handed spear. Full heavy.
Yeah, one-handed full heavy.
And full on tinctures.
And 10 perk. Yep. Go for it.
77. Two-handed sword. 137. Two-handed hammer. 193. Two-handed axe. 167.
There we go. We are done.
We are done with the putting in the numbers. Yep.
So I will...
Now you take as much time as you need. Maybe you want to share the screen yourself and explain us what is what.
Sure.
1 eternity later.
Well, in that case, so stream, this is the compilation of the gear that was used in the test. We had Wecky's log in 2 accounts. He was hitting one account which was using the perk and then, or not using the perk and then using the perk up to level 10. So he used a +5 Corleonean longsword which did 165.3 damage with 200 strength, 200 con, 200 dex.
No. The one who was hitting, his stats were different. Sorry.
Oh, okay. Well, I think the best
you can delete the hitter stats. See, his stats are different. Yeah.
For a list like this, I'm sure when Wekis makes a YouTube post later, we can make this available to everyone who watches the video.
Yes.
Document there. Anyway, so let's go to the meaty bits. So here's the table. So we have the one row is with perk 0. The raw armor with heavy armor was 587.76 slashing, 726.96 piercing, and 475.44 blunt, which equated into 58.78 slashing defense, 72.70 piercing defense, and 47.54 blunt defense. The Corleonean longsword, this is with perk 0, just to remind you, did 194 damage with a heavy strike. And we used all the armor-piercing strikes for the weapons as well, chat. So with the axe, that's overhead. With the sword, there's nothing. With the spear, it's thrust, etc. So the Corleonean longsword at 194 to a 0 perk. The glaive, the Praetorian's glaive, to 214 with a power strike overhead with 0. The short spear did 137 damage with 0 perk, and the two-handed hammer did 253 damage with an overhead with 0 perk. So then we reset, or we leveled up the Man of Steel perk to 10, which then gave us a raw armor value of 653.42 slashing, 813.50 piercing, and 524.26 blunt, which equated into 65.34% slashing resistance, 81.35% piercing resistance, and 52.43% blunt resistance. The Corleonean longsword did 163 damage with a strike. The glaive did 198. The war spear did 91, and the two-handed hammer did 230. We also tested this with 0 in the perk and 10 in the perk with max protective tinctures, with all the buffs that you can get from drinking, which is minus 16%. With 0 in the perk, the Corleonean longsword to the heavy armor did 163 damage. The glaive did 203. The spear did 115, and the two-handed hammer did 213. With a perk and the tincture, with a perk at 10 and the tincture, the longsword did 137 damage. The glaive did 167. The short spear did 77, and the two-handed hammer did 193. So before we move on to the next bits and pieces, you probably noticed one of the most interesting bits is that there's a big percentage difference between raw and level 10 in the perk when wearing full heavy armor end game. I mean, just that is about 6.5-7% slashing resistance increase. That's almost a 10% piercing increase in percentage defense, and a 5% blunt increase. Combine that with the tinctures, you are reducing especially piercing attacks to next to nothing. Something to consider because the current meta is spear and shield. That this is a very strong counter, it seems, the perk to piercing attacks, so arrows and spears. So we move on to medium armor. So, same thing. Perk 0 had, with full medium armor and a shield, had 671.28 raw slashing defense, 539.76 piercing defense, and 589.68 blunt defense, which equates into 67.13% slashing defense, 53.98 piercing defense, and 58.97 blunt defense. So, with the 0 perk and everything listed, the longsword did to medium armor 155 with a heavy slash. The glaive did 197 with the overhead. The short spear, it's one-handed by the way, did 215 damage, and the two-handed hammer did 198. So with the perk at 10, the raw stats were 674.88 slashing defense, 544.66 piercing defense, and 592.27 blunt defense, which equated into 67.49% slashing reduction, 54.47% piercing reduction, and 59.23. Before we go on, this is very common because the perk is only supposed to work with heavy armor. That's why you do not see much of a difference in the percentage damage reductions here. The Corleonean longsword with the 10 in the perk with medium armor did 153 damage. The glaive did 187. The war spear did 207. And the two-handed hammer did 196.
I'm sorry, I had to leave for a little bit.
It's fine, I'm still talking them through it.
Okay.
So, 0 in the perk with the tinctures, the max tincture upgrade with defense. We got 130 damage 130 damage with the longsword. We got 166 damage with the glaive. 181 damage with the spear, short spear one-hander, and 166 with the two-hander. With the level 10 in Man of Steel with the full tincture upgrades, we got 129 damage taken with the longsword, 157 damage taken with the glaive, 174 damage taken with the short spear, and 165 with the two-handed hammer.
So what I can see on a medium, on a medium, with those tinctures, didn't do anything?
Did very little, because understandably the perk only works with heavy armor, like you know.
But the tinctures should work on any armor.
Yes, the tincture list is the list down here.
Yeah,
So here's the difference between 157 damage taken from the axe compared to 187. That is pretty much bang on.
Ah,
the 16.
that's with tincture.
And-
Where yeah, I forgot. The bottom list is just
That's the tincture
perk is
and
on
the
or
perk.
off, but the tincture is always on. Okay, so
These two rows at the top are without tinctures, 0 and 10, and then down here is without with
So-
tincture but without perk, and then with tincture with perk.
so it's totally not bruiser friendly thing.
No,
Totally.
I would definitely say the numbers show that you should probably spend the 10 points elsewhere as a bruiser, someone wearing medium armor. Probably better spent in strongman and the armor penetration perk.
To be
You know
honest, they
the armor
said that
penetration's flat.
they said a full, not full, 4 medium and 2 heavy. Heavy goes chest and pants makes a big difference, just because pants and chest gives the most.
Yes,
Uh,
but every piece of heavy armor will be affected by this perk.
yeah,
So every piece of medium you put in doesn't
Yeah.
get affected
yeah,
by
yeah,
the perk.
yeah, yeah. So,
So it's all or nothing with a perk, all full heavy or no perk essentially. But it'll have the biggest effect on
piercing.
piercing. I mean, 77 piercing damage taken from an endgame spear at +5, a one-handed spear, that's pretty low. And consider that the person, that Wekis was using a naked person to attack this dummy, that's going to be even lower when another person in heavy armor with a spear, or even medium, is hitting him. That's going to reduce the damage by another, 20%? 25, 26%.
I mean, it will increase. Not everybody has this kind of a multiplier. The multiplier is going down. So the damage is going down, yeah.
Yeah, it's going down. Like, because you're naked, you are doing a lot more multiplier damage.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're facing another person in the battlefield with a spear and a shield, this 77 will be even lower because their damage multiplier is usually going to be lower.
But I see that I need to use my two-handed hammer on everything. Two-handed hammer does the job. On medium and on the heavy.
The spear is the best
Against the medium. Mm-hmm.
and the two-handed hammer is obviously the best against heavy.
Mm-hmm.
But if you consider the axe at 214, axe is second for heavy for the most damage.
It's just because
And
my build
it
is
is-
strength build. If it were more strength and dexterity, the sword could be also good.
And axe is pretty much tied for blunt damage on medium.
Mm-hmm.
Second, I mean.
Yes.
So you're never going to fully realize 15% damage reduction from this perk. So don't be fooled. It's not additive, it's multiplicative. But the higher you can get these raw defenses, the more you're going to benefit from that perk. And it has
Yes.
to be heavy armor. Those are the two takeaways from it. But when considering the current meta, and obviously these things can change at any point, 77 damage from a spear is going to be...
Even less.
Well, think of it in how many hits you're going to need to die. if you face a
Tickle,
whole bunch
tickle.
of
They
shield
need
guys.
to tickle me a long time.
They're going to have to tickle you for about 10 hits to kill one of the most average constitution builds, you know?
Yeah, at least 10 hits, and the Constitution builds don't have 770 health, they have 880 health.
Yeah.
So that's 11 hits, minimum.
Mm.
With all the protective tinctures, yeah.
Okay, I think we should jump into the game and grind something, right?
Mm-hmm. Oh, I hope that helps you guys. Let me send you the link.
And thank you one more time for helping me with this.
It's no problem. I'm happy to do stuff like this. It saves people money if they, get to 90 and then they want to reset and they realize that something is not what they wanted. Let's put it that way. And then they have to spend, what is it, 2,000, I think, which is
Yes.
$20. $20 to reset your character. So yeah, guys, make up your mind. Use this information wisely.
It's not $20. I think it's like almost 10 for a one scroll.
Is it 2,000?
But if you want to reset everything, like and attributes and skill tree, then it's around that. You need two cards. See ya in the
Alright.
game or see ya in the stream.
Yeah.
Bye bye.
Yes. Bye.